are actually supposed to write your requirements to the Center of Online Education. Okay, and they are going to issue you letters where you can which you can present it to the concerned agencies and approach them to finish off your to do your concurrent field work. Okay, as well as your orientation visits. And another thing is, even in case of supervision for appointment of a supervisor, you have to approach the same center, and they will be, appointing the concerned person as the supervisor. So you can do your field work under the supervision of that concerned supervisor. Okay. So you please write to the Center for Online Education and see what they have to, you know. Yes, Candiro.
Morning, madam. Good afternoon.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, mine is just a question. I just want to know that the online management for education. Do they know that there's some students from different countries here in Africa that are schooling at this IGNO or not?
I didn't get it.
I mean, online education. I mean that management for online education
Yes,
from the IGNO.
Center for
Do they
Online Education.
do they know that there are some other students from different countries in
Yes, they are
Africa?
running the program. They are running the program. They are running this program. So they will be knowing about it, and they will be forwarding the request to the concerned person who is responsible. Okay, so this is, I personally, I am there to guide you as to how you can go about the journal, writing down the journal and all that. But as far as this appointment of supervisor is concerned and the your issuance of letter is concerned, this is something that the Center for Online Education will be looking after. Okay, so you all please write a letter to the Center for Online Education, like write a mail and see how it is, so what they have to say about this. Okay, so you can just write to the concerned person over there. And uh, yes, Chipiliro.
Uh, I want to talk about the issue of journals. In
Chipiliro,
our
just can you just
LMS,
be a little more loud? I cannot hear you actually properly. There's a lot of disturbance.
all right. The issue of journals. The last time I checked to my LMS, the journal for 106 and the journal for 107, they are not updated in our
Yes.
LMS. So we don't take any journal from any different other side because we were told that whatever it is in our LMS, we have to do with it.
Yes, you have to complete all the activities in the LMS.
Yeah, so the journals are not yet updated.
Uh, I
There are
mean,
no
as
journals.
Chipiliro, your voice is breaking. I'm sorry, but I can't hear much.
Hello, ma.
Yes, Anas.
What she's saying is that up to now, our LMS was not updated because there is not 106 and 107 on the LMS portal. Up to now.
Yes, I told you that you can always download it from the online source. It is given there. I have even did I share the link yesterday with you?
No, but
Sorry.
ma, when we
Uh,
finish,
Sorry.
how are we going to submit the assignment since the portal was not open to us? We doesn't have the way to
Uh,
submit the journal.
Okay, see, as far as the portal and all that is concerned, I'm afraid that is something that the administrative authorities are going to tell you about that. I don't have much knowledge about it, except that I can guide you on whatever content wise problem if you're having with regard to the understanding of the subject. Okay. So as far
Okay,
as the
thank you.
portal is concerned, you just write a mail to the regional center, and they will be looking into this query. So they are in a better position to let you know about it. I
Eh,
don't have
eh,
much issue, I mean knowledge about it.
But
Yes,
ma, we
sir.
need your help because first and second semester we have been writing in an email to the regional center, but they did not reply to us. Not one person, not two person. I think almost 10 of us
To
sent
which,
an email to them,
okay,
to the regional
um,
center. But up to now there is no any reply. And please, can you share the link with us so that we will start before they send before they
I
open
will
the elements
share
to us?
the, see, I can, uh, sir, are you there from the regional center with us? Anyone from the regional center present here in the classroom?
Yeah, tell me, ma'am, what happened?
Yes, sir. Sir, there are questions from the students. Anas, can you just tell your query to sir?
Yes, yes, ma. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, yeah, tell me.
So our first and second semester, that our journal that we write in first and second semester, we were told that we should find our supervisor, firstly. Secondly, we write an email to the regional center, but up to now there is not any reply on how.
Don't write any
And
email to regional center. You have to write an email to coe@igno.sc.in, Center of Online Education. So you have to write a mail to the director. What is your procedure? How will you do? Who is your supervisor? And they will send a letter to you.
okay, but the first and second semester we send an email, but
Yeah.
there is no reply.
There is another is igram@igno.sc.in.
You said, sir?
igram igram.igno.sc.in.
icram.igno.
I for India, GRAM, igram
Okay.
dot igno dot sc dot in. Okay, so you can write to them and you ask them, because we just RC will going to conduct the class, and your admission is done with the Ministry of Foreign. That's why your program is looking after COE. So COE will
Okay, sir.
decide how will do your journal parts. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And your concern, I got it. I will also write on behalf of my side. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. I'm sure that the query is now understood. I hope you are yes, yes,
Hello.
yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, especially for me, to my side, I'm just confused because before we started this school, regional center for online education, they told us
Mhm.
that whatever for us, we will get them from LSMS, from our LMS. So now I can see some changes that will become tough for us because, as far as I know, if each and every student here will write email to the regional center, I don't think that
I have
we all
I have
we will
shared.
all get a help. And another thing, we the of this class, we are different from other students because we are under the EVDA ballot. So they told us that we student for EVDA ballot, everything that we will write, we will get them also from LMS. Now you are telling us that we can go to some other source, which is quite different from what we have told before. So I don't know which is which, and now that is why we don't see our exercises to our LMS because
No, 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 no.
now we are
Listen,
doing it.
listen, learner. Whatever LMS you are telling, that is correct. You have to put everything in LMS only. I had given you the email ID. Directly, director is looking after that email ID. So I am not telling do anything extra. So you, whatever the you are telling, LMS is correct. You will do everything in LMS only. Got my point? Because
So
I am not telling anything. You have to submit your things with the COE. But
yeah,
you have to write a mail to somebody who can reply to you.
before you proceed, sir, can I ask a question or a comment? Is it possible that you update our RMS, the journals 106 and 107, so that we should be updated the area?
Yeah, yeah,
That
you will update our LMS. No issue. You will do that.
all right, sir.
Thank you, sir. So we'll start with the class today, and
Hello, ma. Your mic is off.
sorry, yes. So I'm presenting my screen, and we will continue from where we left yesterday. I hope you can see the screen.
Yes, ma.
So we left at we just started the third component of the fieldwork, that is the agency client relationship. And I was telling you that this is one of the most important part. And since you will be working as part of the agency, it is very important that you need to maintain that smooth functioning of the agency and good, relations between the agency and the client. Since you will be the face of the agency, you have to make sure that that image of the agency that they have built over the years, that should continue to be like that. Okay. So the way you are going to deal with the client, it has to be very cordial, and of course you have to make sure that you're working with the client should reflect the overall okay goals and objectives of the agency, okay, which you are representing. Now we know that the clients will either come to you through the agency, either the agency is going to refer the clients to you. Sometimes the clients come on their own, sometimes they are sent by a member of their family or maybe some friend or other individuals. Sometimes another agency would refer the client, to the agency. For example, it could be the local, maybe the court, or it could be some other NGO or government agency who is working on the concern with the concerned client. So there could be a second agency who will be sending the client to you for work. Okay. And you all know that basically the client, when he or she approaches the agency, they will be coming with some expectations that their case will be resolved, and sometimes they may all also be having some kind of an apprehensions. Okay, like how what kind of services will be provided to you, how they are going to go ahead with the work, is it safe to speak about their issues with another person who's there. So there are a lot of issues related to doubts in the mind of the agency. They might even come with some other kind of an expectations, like having maybe some kind of expectations of some monetary help. you know they may sometimes feel that the whole process of counseling is a waste of time, and all they require is some kind of a monetary help. So this is something that you have to be very specific with the client when they come to you. So whatever their expectations are, you need to ask, and then you have to clarify exactly the goals and the way the agency works. So definitely you are not going to give them any kind of a monetary help. So you have to be very clear with the clients from the very start. Okay. So tell them exactly what they can expect from the agency, how the agency is going to work with the clients, what they are going to, the kind of services that they are going to do with the to give to the clients. These are things that you have to be very much clear when you start working with the clients. Okay. And so you have to specify the ideology of the agency and the limitations of the agency to the client from the word go. Okay. Now, again, there is also your some kind of clarifications on your preconceived notions that you may be having. So you may get clients from different backgrounds, from maybe different kind of a cultural setting, from different socioeconomic conditions. So you will get background from clients from different kinds of groups. Okay, different social groups, different socioeconomic statuses. So you have to make sure that your specific personal experiences or your value systems or whatever preconceived notions you have about a particular social group, it should not affect your perception of the client.
Control E, your microphone is on. Control E, your camera is on.
Ma'am, just a minute.
Huh?
Dear learner, I have a small announcement for you. Whatever you are facing problem, whatever your query, you can write DIR, D for donkey, I for India, R for red, DIR dot COE, Center for Online Education, COE at the rate igno.sc.in. This will directly go to the director of e-Vidyavarti. So you have any issue regarding your journal, kindly write to him. So he can directly give a reply to you. dir.coe at the rate igno.sc.in. Ma'am, continue.
Thank you, sir. I have shared you the mail that sir has just said. You please write a mail to this concerned person. Okay. So you will, all your queries will be solved. So please write the mail at this email ID henceforth. Okay. So, as we have discussed, that whatever preconceived notions you have, or whatever maybe biases we may have regarding some, cultural group or persons belonging to some background or socioeconomic strata, we have to make sure that this does not come when we are interacting with the client system. So, you need to have a very non-judgmental attitude with the clients. Now, when it is pertinent at this point that whenever you're going for your field work, you please go through the theories regarding the social casework and the social group work that you have already discussed in BSWL, I think 125. Okay, so social casework and social group work. You are supposed to go through this BSW 125, this block, so that you will be able to understand the basic prerequisites, what all things you need to remember when you are going to start your work with the agency, the principles of social casework and group work, what all principles you need to understand, you need to remember. So this is important that you have to do. So just before you go to the agency, before you start with your field work for this particular semester, you please go through again the basic concepts of social casework and social group work, so that you will not be having any issues or any kind of a problems when you are working with the agency. Okay. Now, see, the following points, they have to be used for self introspection when you start your work, with the client. First of all, you have to discuss and list down your own dislikes as well as your likes with regard to your social functioning. Okay, so you just write down a list of all the things that you are comfortable with. So before you start work with your agency, you have to be very sure about the kind of issues that you are comfortable with. So if you are not comfortable working with a particular issue, say for example, you do not want to work with individuals suffering from HIV AIDS, or maybe if you are not comfortable working with individuals who are into prostitution, or any other, could in any other scenario, then you please do not go for an agency or a work that would require you to work with individuals who belong to this category. Okay, so you have to understand that these things you have to be very much sure when you are going to a agency for work, to seek work. Then also you have to make a list of the first impressions of an individual or for community or a group, and whether it changed after subsequent sessions. So when you started working with a particular individual or a group, okay, you have to, now in this particular semester we are looking at the group work. Okay, you have to carry out group work with a particular group. So you have to write down the first impressions that you had about the group, and when you are going through the entire process of this group work, whether that impression changed after the sessions. Okay, then how does a client see the agency and why? So basically you have to also assess the kind of the impression the client had about the agency or about the counselor, for you social worker for that matter, whether the see the person as a helper, as a friend, as a relative, as a broker or a doctor or any kind of a professional help or anything. Okay, so you have to see that. Also, how does the agency see the client? What impression do they have of the client? You will able to understand all these nitty-gritties when you start working with the agency. Okay. Also, how does the agency see the social work professionals? Okay. Do you think that the agency is fully fulfilling the purpose it is meant for? Okay. These are some of the questions that you have to introspect, that you have to understand. So when you start working with the agency, just try to jot down all of these points. And when you are going through this whole process of working with individuals and groups, these 15 days that you will be working, just try to assess the answer for all these questions. Okay. Also there are the how do the beliefs, traditions and the preconceived notions of the client system influence the perception of the agency, and also understanding the implication of existing bureaucratic setup and legislation on the services provided. So these are some of the questions that are very much relevant to your given particular context. Okay, since you belong to different countries, you will be having different experiences when you're working with the agency. Okay, so you're supposed to just write down these questions when you start your work, and over a period of these 15 days try to introspect on these questions. Okay, now, the fourth component comes the assignment of the task. Now, here the aim of doing specific task is to expose the student to situations where the social work method is generally in rudimentary form are used. Now, generally what happens, many times you may not get an agency where you will be having a particular or an effective supervision. Sometimes the agency, though they are working with the worker with the clients, they are working on different issues, but they may not be very clear on the professional techniques or the professional work that is involved. Okay, so whatever things you are learning as part of your professional social work curriculum, you may find that agency, maybe within the agency, the already the people who are working within the agency, they may not be trained themselves. Okay, they may either be volunteers or they may be professionals belonging to other different professions. So in that case, you may have certain challenges so as to related to the assignment of task. Okay, so there you will have to actually look where you can require meeting individuals and other groups and interact with them, enable them to plan the task and implement it. So this is again, all this would be depending upon the need of the target population and the resources that are available to you. So of course you have to understand that as professional social work you have to use the methods of social work, but at many times you may not have an agency which will actually enable you to use these techniques. So here you have to actually use your own understanding of the task and the methods. Okay. Now the task can be chosen depending upon the need of the target population and the resources that is available to you through the agency. Okay. Now you will have to describe the various steps followed to organize an event here. So if at any point of time you are supposed to organize certain event by the agency, you will have to go through different stages. Okay. For example, the first is the initial stage. Here is the initial contact with the group. For example, maybe you want to say you're working with a particular group. Okay. Say, for example, you're working with a group of students and you are given the task of organizing a counseling session for the students where you are supposed to call a person who specializes in, say, counseling for career counseling. Okay, who specializes in career counseling, and he or she would come, and you are supposed to basically organize this meeting for the particular group of students that you are working with. Okay. Now how this organization, how that event will be organized, so there will be different stages. Okay. So the first would be the initial stage, where you will have the initial contact with the group. Okay. So you are working with the group, you will build a rapport with them. Okay. You will study the situation and get to know the needs of the target population. Now since these are students of 8th or ninth standard maybe, and you understand that they are having difficulties relating to the kind of choice of subject that they should choose, what they should do for their career, what all options are available to them after they do their once they go into the higher secondary, or to the higher education, what subject they can do, they can take up. So then you decide to take up maybe a session on career counseling. Okay. Then you will list out the objectives of the program in qualitative and quantitative terms. So what all objective do you intend to fulfill by maybe organizing a program like this? Then you will choose appropriate task or an activity to attain these objectives after consulting the agency officials, community members, and the beneficiaries. Usually, that would depend upon the level of program that you want to um organize. So if it has to be, if the program is at a small level, then you may just consult the group and the agency. If it has to be organized at the community level, then you will have to, of course, consult the community members as well as the members from the agency. So that would depend upon the level at which the program is being organized. So you will have to take the permission from the necessary authorities, okay, before you start your start planning for the organization. Then of course develop a very realistic time frame for conducting the activities. Okay. Now this is something which is there for all the, for any kind of a program that you organize. So this may be at um, agency level, this can be at the community level, this can be at the group level. So whatever program you want to organize for the client group, you will go through all these stages. The second stage would be the planning stage, where you will prepare a plan. You will list out the tasks to be done. So what are the, how what are the tasks that are required to you in order to organize that program? What all the things you will require? What kind of individuals are you going to contact? Okay, all of these things you will have to list out in the as part of the plan. Then maybe there may be some problems that you may anticipate. There may be some kind of problems that may come very unexpectedly. So just brainstorm and see what all problems or hurdles that may come up when you are organizing this program. Also, you will have to allocate the responsibilities to individuals and groups. Okay, so this may be if you are working as part of a program. Okay, if you're working with some other members of the agency, then you can allocate these responsibilities accordingly. Okay, so if you're working as part of a team, it becomes easier, because in this way you can definitely allocate the responsibilities. If you alone are responsible, then you will have to carry out the work yourself. So mention clearly the responsibilities. Okay, communicate the responsibilities to the concerned persons, preferably in a meeting where everyone involved is present. So that would depend on the level of involvement. Then mobilize internal and external resources. So whatever resources are there at your disposal, okay, you will have to mobilize those resources, and always keep note of all the points which are involved in the various interactions. So whenever you are organizing different meetings with different stakeholders or with different members who are participating in this planning, you will have to keep notes. Otherwise, what will happen? You will forget who is responsible for what, and what all things have to be done, what all persons have to be contacted. So always make sure that you make a note of all the points. Okay, then the third stage is the implementation stage. Now, what is the implementation stage? Implementation stage is the stage where you will implement the plan. So at this stage you will be implementing the plan. Okay, and also here, any assistance that you are supposed to that has helped you to implement the program, this needs to be mentioned here during the implementation part. Okay, and then you will write about the evaluation and the feedback. So you will just evaluate whether all the objectives that you have planned, that you have set for this particular program, were attained. Also, the impact of the program on the target population. How did it go? How did the clients feel about the program? All of these things you will have to write. Now, for example, here they have given a list of the program, some illustrative activities which come under the task that can be undertaken. So these activities can be related to individuals, like you can arrange a job for a person who has to be rehabilitated. So, for example, if you, in case you are working with an individual who is an ex, convict, just come out of after serving his or her term in the prison, and he or she needs to be rehabilitated, or if it's a person who is differently abled and he or she needs to be rehabilitated, then maybe you can arrange for a job. Just ask, take help from the agency or any other individual from the or maybe a person from the government or other person who can help you in this. Maybe you can arrange a loan or a government scheme for a needy person. you know so whatever, if there are certain government schemes which are there for persons in difficult situations, then you can help the person in arranging that loan. Just go and speak to the authorities, take that person and help him facilitate the process, of forwarding the application for the same. Okay, even for scholarships or sponsorships for children or for adults, from various private or public sources, that can be facilitated. Then arrange for the patients to be taken to a hospital using a volunteer. You know, uh, you do not take the patient yourself. Okay, you do not have to do that thing. Generally it has to be done through a volunteer, maybe through the agency, or maybe through some other sources. So there may be, usually you may be having some government programs where they will be having some ambulance facilities, something like that. So you have to understand the kind of help that you can provide to the individual, depending upon the resources available with the agency or the community. Okay, Then you may also help arrange for the cost of medication for the patient from private or public sources. Now remember, when we say arrange for the cost of medications or for government loans, you don't have to give the individual any kind of a financial assistance. Okay, you will facilitate this assistance maybe through some other agency. Okay, who is helping, who can help them, help the person, or maybe some government assistance programs must be there, or some other organization who is willing to help that person. What you have to do is you have to work as a facilitator. Am I clear? Do you understand this? Okay, am I clear here? The second is the programs which will be related to either group or a community. So again, here you can help organize picnics or visits to places of interest like museums, temples, historical places. So for example, you are working for a school. So here, if you're working with a group of students or maybe a class of students, and what you can do is you can help organize the school. You can help the school in organizing that visit. Okay, just facilitate this visit, arrange for adult education classes, then in the community organize awareness camp related to the health education or any kind of government programs, or where you can provide more knowledge to the people relating to these various issues. Maybe organize street plays with members of the community. So this is something that you can definitely be a part of it. You can definitely help organize street plays. You can help the members to be a part of the street play. You yourself can be a part of the street play. This can be done. Help conduct a street health camp for people. Maybe nutrition camp, organize immunization camp with the help of the agency. Help the agency in conducting surveys for formulation of future programs. You can always organize a fundraising event with the help of the agency. Organize some kind of a sports program for the school or for the community that you're working for. Organize leadership training programs, for the informal leaders of the community, maybe for the youth groups. There can be so many other different issues. Then arranging for filing any kind of a public interest litigation if it concerns a social problem in that community. Okay, or some legal aid for any kind of an afflicted person or any kind of persons who require this kind of a help, and any kind of a vocational training that you can arrange for the disadvantaged groups of the population, or maybe for the youth, or for the children, any kind of a skill development program if you can arrange. So you will help facilitate organizing such programs. Okay, then of course you will also describe the problems encountered in organizing the event. So there can be so many problems which you may face depending upon the kind of event that you have organized. That, for example, you may face some kind of lack of cooperation or hostility from the target population. There may be some kind of resistance from the local leaders, maybe from the local authorities. Maybe you may face some kind of lack of resources. There could be internal resources, there could be problem relating to the external resources. Then there can be some kind of problem related to the target population, like community may be riddled with some kind of factions, you know or which may create problem for this implementation. Then there may be some individuals or groups who may be dominating the scene. Okay, there may be some kind of dissatisfaction among them, so they may create some kind of problems. Then there may be so many problems related to lack of participation or lack of interest shown by the members of the group or the client group. So there may be a lot many problems at different levels, so you have to basically mention all these problems. Then there may be some problems related to the participants with with regard to the inconsistency of people's interest level in the task which they have decided for themselves. Then individuals who accepted responsibilities, they may neglect later. Okay, they may not carry out those responsibilities. Then by making alternative arrangements like giving the responsibility to someone else and so on, you may have to, do some kind of, immediate problem solving. Then there may be so many different situations that you may have to face. Now, you have to discuss all your reactions with the fieldwork supervisor, and you may also write all of these experiences as part of the report. Okay, so that is why you will be discussing this as part of the individual conferences that you will be conducting with the supervisor. Now, there are some of the achievements of the programs that you will have to mention in terms of the objective. So you have to write how the participation of the people was, the quality of participation, okay? Then in terms of the changes that you wanted, whether those changes have taken place, how the program has impacted the population, how it has impacted the agency, in terms of the, you can say the image of the agency, has it improved, whether the relationship between the agency and the client has improved, were you able to satisfy the needs of the people who participated in the program? Okay, so all of these things you will do it. And how was the people's response, with regard to whether they want these programs to be organized in the future, you know so basically these are some of the experiences that you will have to share with the supervisor also as part of the report writing. Okay, now, some of the learnings in your report, you will have to specify the group work skills you use in the process. Okay, like for example, what all skills did you use? Did you use counseling? Did you use observation? Did you use active listening? Then what are other skills that you use in terms of helping the individuals which were part of the group? Okay, so all of these skills that you will be noting down for every session. And when you are performing the task, you should look into also other aspects, like where are the areas where you had to face some kind of problems, weaknesses in your skills or in your knowledge, or maybe there was some kind of differences in the attitude, where you have to deal with any kind of frustrations which were caused because of failure of others to meet your expectations. Okay, then these are some of the learnings that you will be recording as part of the fieldwork report. Okay, and any other observations that you have uh, that you were able to make. Now, the fifth component deals with the nature of the social work process. Now, we know that in this semester, you will be practicing the method of the social group work. Okay. And we know that these methods are used virtually in all settings and in all situations. Therefore, even when a social worker is using other methods, we will be using certain skills and knowledge which we have learned in other methods as well. For example, while doing group work, you will be expected to follow some of the principles and skills that you have used as part of the casework. So, for example, in your group, you may come across with some person who is not participating well. He or she is not actively participating as a member of the group. He or she maybe, needs some kind of a motivation, some kind of a counseling from your part so that he or she actively participates in the group work. So this is where your learnings from the social casework they are going to come. Okay, so you will be applying different methods of social work, as part of the group work. Then you can learn group work only by practicing these methods in the field under the supervision of a trained social worker. That is why you require some trained social worker as a supervisor. And the main purpose of this semester fieldwork is to provide you with the opportunities for gaining this crucial experience. Now we come to the group work. Okay, this will give you a little bit of information about the group work that you are supposed to do. Now, group work is a way bit complicated, you can say, to practice as compared to case work, because in case you are dealing with one individual, or maybe some individuals who are related to that particular individual, but in group work you will be working with a number of people as part of the group. Okay, so you will be having at least 8 to 12 individuals that you have to work with simultaneously. So there will be a lot of you can say there will be a lot of issues you may face with regard to the motivation of the members of the group to attend the group sessions daily or maybe frequently. So the group work is comparatively easier when you do it in agencies like schools, in orphanages, in old age homes, or other institutional settings where you will find people living in groups. Okay, that is why I told you that it is always good if you make sure that the agency that you're working with, they use that particular method of field work. So if they are using social case work very actively, or they are using social group work actively, you have to specifically try and take up work with that particular agency. So for this semester, it will always be easier for you if you do your work in schools or in orphanages where you will have greater opportunity to work with groups. Okay, even old age homes can do, or any kind of an institutional setup, say a hospital, okay, or maybe some correctional center. So all of these things can be considered for this particular semester. Okay. Now, in other areas like community setup, also you will be dealing with groups, but you may not be able to conduct group work sessions in a systematic manner. So all these institutions, you will find people, you know, very systematically. But in community settings, it may not be very feasible to conduct group work sessions in a regular manner, because most of the times you will find that generally the people are not available in the community. They are gone for their work. They will not be available in the same time. So you will face a lot of challenges if you do group work sessions in a particular community. But if you do in a particular institutions, in a closed institutions, then it will be easier for you to do your group work sessions in a regular manner, in a systematic manner. Now, uh, there are here we are given with certain criteria that we will have to take for which we'll have to consider when we are taking members into the group. So some of the criteria apart from availability can be mentioned here, like for example, the previously existing group. If there is a previously existing group, you can consider that. Sometimes you will find that you will have some spontaneous group. Okay, you can consider that. Groups may come as part of the public advertisement. Okay, then they may be through public meetings. Then they can be a purposive group which is selected by the person, by the field worker to work. For example, you may select the parents of students who are not doing well in their academic work, who are not doing well in their studies, or maybe who are having some kind of issues related to learning disabilities, or maybe some behavioral issues. So you may purposely select some individuals like that. Okay, you may go for learning groups, or as part of the skill development groups, problem groups, induction groups, health related groups, self help groups. All of these groups can be selected, which are basically uh, you know can be taken as a criteria for taking up members into the group. Now, there are some of the questions that we may have to ask ourselves about the group work. Now, this may include the characteristics of the potential group members. So, what are the characteristics of the potential group members? What do you want to do? The group work with these members. Why do you want to do the group work in the first place? Why have you chosen these members? You know, what is the time frame available to you for doing the group work? Are you having some kind of a time frame? Then, accordingly, what will be the aims of the group? So, if you are having a given time frame, if you are supposed to carry out your activities within a given time frame, what objectives will you keep? Okay, what will be the aim of the group? Then, what are the similarities as well as the dissimilarities among the members of the group? Are there some members present who are noticeably different from others? Then, what are expectations from the group work? So, what are the clients expecting from the group work? What are you expecting from the group work? Are the expectations different from each other? So are the expectations of you as a person, as a social worker, or of the group different from each other relating to group work? Do you think that these differences will hamper the progress? What are the characteristics of the members? Are they having some similarities, or they are basically different from each other? What are the limitations of the group work when practicing an agency? So all these are some of the questions that you will have to uh, you know answer when you start with this work with groups. Now there will be different sessions. When you are working with groups, you understand that there will be different sessions that you will have to conduct. So the first session can be used for introducing each other. So yeah, here, um, you will take this opportunity you will take the opportunity in the first session to basically introduce each other. You can help person to get acquainted with each other, also to introduce yourself, to introduce you as a social worker with the rest of the group. Sometimes you may find that the members, they know each other, so you can take this at a good opportunity to introduce yourself and discuss the aims and goals of the group. So this would be basically the ice breaking session, where you will try to have a develop some good cordial relationship with the members of the group, and also facilitate the members to develop good relationship with each other as well. Okay, so this would be a basically the ice breaking session. Now, when you record these activities in your journal, you must mention the conditions under which you form the group. Okay, so you have to find out the aims and objectives. You will have to find out the positive and the negative characteristics that you have mentioned. Also, after the first session, you can prepare a background note on each member. What do you think? How have their participation? How have been their participation? If you are feeling any kind of resistance from any of the member, okay, whether they are cooperating well. So your aim and objective would depend upon the kind of group that you go for. So if you are working with children, your aim and objectives will be different. If you're working with elderly, your aim and objectives will be different. So develop these, set your aim and objectives depending upon the background of the group members. Okay, and also their individual requirement, what all they need. Okay, then you also have to give some kind of information regarding the some of the basic background of the individual, their educational qualification, their employment status, whether they are facing some kind of individual problem. Okay, quality of relationship with others. All of these are certain information that you will be requiring from the group. Then, depending upon the group, you will collect information and prepare a note on each member. So, you will have this face sheet where you will mention the information about every member of the group. Okay, so you will write the name of the client, his or her age, educational qualification, appropriate income, maybe approximate income, their family background. Okay, so if the client is an orphan, does he have any immediate relatives, or if the people are important to him or her, they can be mentioned. So for example, if they are having some kind of some friend or some person who is sponsoring the child, then you can mention that. Otherwise, you can use the following table which is given here. Okay, so you will have the name, relationship with the client, age, educational qualifications, occupation and income of the various individuals who are known to the members of the group. You will also mention the relation of the member with the different family members and the relationship between the family members themselves. In the first session, you will be able to get only the client's opinion on the relationship, and you would not be able to verify, of course, because you are just working with the client, so you are working them as part of the group. You're definitely not, you have not made any kind of a home visit, so you don't know whether the information that has been given by the member of the group is true or not. But you will be in the first session, you will get only the client's opinions on the relationship. Okay, you don't have to verify it. Secondly, the client would not be open about the details. It's not necessary that the client will start opening to you regarding the personal details. Okay, so generally what happens, that would depend upon the type of group that you're dealing with. Children, you will find they are more open, to discussions. And if you have able to get come up with your if you have been able to develop good relationship with the children. But generally when you're working with say adult, or with the aged, you will find that generally they will not be very open to you in the first session regarding their their personal problem, personal information, or maybe their problems. They might not open up well. Now, the client would not be necessary open about the details, so you have to still try and get some of the details, like in terms of the relationship with father, the relationship with mother, relationship with siblings, with other relatives of the family, their relationship between the parents, the relationship between the father and mother with the siblings. There can be some significant relationship if there is an important event, like maybe their partner, their spouse, anything related to the stepson, stepdaughter, or whatever. So, whoever members of the family are, you may get the relevant information from the client. Now, sometime the client may give those information to you easily. Sometime they may not give you the information. So, you have to use the professional relationship that you develop with the client. Okay, so this may take a while, but don't but you don't have to worry. Generally the clients usually open up by the second meeting. Okay, so that's absolutely okay. Then residence address, then you can also mention the kind of um, neighborhood that the person lives with, because sometimes the kind of neighborhood from where the person comes might have a lot of bearing on the problem. Okay, like if they are living in some slum area, if they're living in some kind of a neighborhood where there are certain gangs or certain other individuals who are creating some kind of a problem for that individual, so you will come to know a lot about the neighborhood. So you just mention the neighborhood, the kind of neighborhood the client is living in, and also the kind of relationship that the client has with the neighbors. So that is something you will also try to understand, right? Then you will write about the school education. Okay, try to get details about the school, the schooling or some other education details of the individual. So you will be able to understand more about the client, in terms of their relationship with the teachers, how he or she is performing in the studies. This is all the more relevant if you are working with students or with children or even with the youth. Then their occupation or employment status, what they are doing, what is the status of their job, are they working or have they left the job, so on and so forth. Okay, any kind of an accident or a trauma which has been affected the individual, whether there has been a loss of a family member, or maybe the person himself went through some accident which led some trauma, or maybe physically has impacted the person. So all of these things you will have to get information, and also try to ask about what they intend to do in the future, their future plans. At the end of the first session, you will try um, and assess the following things. So first of all, the ability of that individual, what that person can do, attitude towards the group, interpersonal relationship, resources, materials, skills, knowledge, all of these you are going to uh, write down depending upon the assessment that you have made during this first session. Okay, so this is about the first session. And after the end of every session, you have to ask the members of the group, how do they intend to meet, where do they intend to meet for the next meeting. Okay, where do they intend to meet for the next meeting. So this is something that you will have to ensure by the end of the session, for every session, because you are going to work there for 15 days. Okay, that means you can have good 15 sessions with the members, with the group. So you have to, at the end of every session, you will have to decide when will the next group meeting take place, where will the next group meeting take place. You will also try and find the activities that you will do in the next meeting. So all of these things you should be you should clarify when you are ending your session. Now, the second session, by the end of this second session, you can predict some kind of aims, goals, and behavior of the group members. Okay, for example, um, if it's a group of children, they may have some kind of expectations from you, that they want to go for a picnic, they want to go for some sport activity, some trip outside. So you can basically prepare yourself to um, do that activity by collecting some interesting information. All of these things you can do. Then you can also see what interests them, what kind of activities interest them. So you can actually start planning for such activities with them. So you will understand by the second session there will be lot of clarity when you are working with the members. Then you can also see the patterns of interactions emerging between the members of the group. So some members, they are talking to only certain members while they are avoiding other members. So you will find that basically you will have these subgroups within the group. And what you can do is you can take steps whereby you can actually improve this working. You can improve this interactions, make people, make them more involved, get them more involved with the work, with the meeting, with the activities. Try and break the uh, you know um, this dependency on that they have developed. make sure that they are interacting with other members of the group as well. So this is something that you will have to facilitate them, you know, when you are going through these sessions. Okay. Then also, if there is any kind of a conflict between the members, you will have to take steps to basically resolve. Then if there are any cases of non-participation, you have to see what is the reason why the person is not participating or not attending the sessions. So this is something that you will have to um, you know um, keep note of. And at the end of the session, okay, after the session has ended, you have to basically write down all these points in a diary or in some rough book where you can actually remember. So there are a lot of things that you may not remember when you are writing your report. So it is always good that you keep note of all these things, of all these points, and then when you're writing your report, you can easily include them during the report writing. Then the third session would include the general goals of the group work. Here is basically, more about maintaining the group. They will have to, the members will require some kind of a motivation, you know, to maintain the relationship, to come to attend the sessions. So basically, uh, the second is enhancement. Improving the social functioning by providing information, conducting role play, skill training. Yes, can you please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. Then you will also be going to try to, improve the social functioning by providing them with information. You can also help conduct a role play with the help of the group members themselves, provide some kind of a skill training depending upon the group that you're dealing with. you know See how you can improve the communication and interpersonal skills of the members of the group. You have to arrange for certain activities, which would help the members to understand, to improve this. Then uh, Also, some problems may come up at this juncture, so you have to make sure that you are able to eliminate these problems, do some kind of initial problem solving, okay, so that they related to the behavior. So you have to ensure that you are able to do that kind of a problem solving. Then also, you may be working with some kind of a group who are working on the issue of say employment, or so in that case you can uh, work with them and plan programs accordingly. Okay. Then you can also work in case of some kind of behavior modifications, like for example, um, like improving their knowledge on various subjects, like if it's working with the youngsters, you can give them knowledge about HIV/AIDS. If you're working with children, it is about discipline, giving them knowledge about discipline, importance of discipline, importance of values, importance of maintaining personal hygienes, how personal hygiene, how they can maintain all these things. So depending upon the type of group that you work with, you will have to accordingly arrange sessions with them. Okay. Now you will develop um, Here you will decide which type of group you have formed. Okay, also decide the needs of the group. Okay, what do the group, of course this will be in consultation with the group members themselves. Then certain group goals, decide what intermediate goals which will lead you to final group goals. Okay, decide on the activities that help you improvise the needs of to basic fulfill the needs of the individuals. Also decide the activities which will improve the group goals. So all of these things you will decide after consulting the members of the group. Okay, now they have given example that if you're dealing with children with behavior problems in an orphanage or a school, how can you go about it? Now this is an important task, is developing group goals. uh, Now here some of the activities the group can do, and that will basically decide the limitations and the strength. You can start making a list of the activities that you can plan with the group. Okay, and this would be definitely in consultation with the members of the group. You can always guide them. And one important aspect that you have to understand is your view on your own role. How do you see yourself? What role do you perceive for yourself? Okay, what are the expectations of the group members from you as an individual? you know what are their what do different members think about you? And basically your perception of how you can influence the behavior of the members of the group as well as your own behavior. Then also about the general functioning of the group, the kind of initiative that the group members are ready to take. So all of these things you will have to understand. The fourth session would include there can be so many areas in which you can do a session, like and also understand some of the group dynamics in the sense that are there any leaders emerging in the group? Do you see people taking up responsibilities or taking up initiatives? Okay, are there any subgroups which are contributed to the group functioning? So they can have, in a group you can have 3 4 people who are taking more interest in doing the work for the group, or maybe organizing sessions. Are there any other kind of you can say that processes or conflicts ongoing which are contributing to the group malfunctioning? That people are not able to work together, people are you know avoiding responsibilities, people are having some kind of a conflict with each other. Okay, then there may be people having different kind of a behavior, like say some may be introvert, some may be quite extrovert. How can you in this case enhance the participation of the members? Okay, so this is these are some of the things that you may be able to identify by the fourth session. Then you have the fifth session. Okay, where you will find out the interaction pattern. So the kind of interaction between members, is there a purposeful interaction between the members? Okay, you know the kind of try to develop liking for the between the group members for each other. Okay, try to make the circle more inclusive, make them have developed this appreciation for members, for each other, as well as for the achievement and their cooperation. Okay, have to develop greater tolerance for mistakes and shortcomings of others. So this can be developed by the fifth session. Also, communication between different members of the group in terms of, better communication with each other, purposeful communication with each other, then removal of defects in communication skills, any kind of, if abusive language is being used, how you can remove that, motivate the members not to use this kind of language. Then also working on group cohesion and control. Also working with the members to go for, greater cohesion and control, like, influencing members, control over subgroups, group control over subgroups, or group control over the members, other members who are refusing to cooperate. Also, ability to control any kind of a deviance or unexpected behavior within the group. Sometimes you will find that there may be some members who may behave in a manner which may be not very appealing to other members. So you can also increase the control of such deviant behavior. Then other methods of functioning of the group, like making the process more democratic, increasing participation in the decision making. Okay, how you can increase the participation of the members, increasing their sensitiveness to the needs of the other members of the groups. Okay, so they have to make become more accommodative in terms of the needs of the other members, more sensitive to their emotions and opinions. Okay, and also make them come to decisions without your assistance as a group worker. And also try to develop the group in terms of overall increasing ability to take more and more complex group tasks. Okay, they should be able to take more difficult and complex tasks. Okay, increase the flexibility of the group functioning. You also have the responsibility to do this. How it can become more flexible in its working, ability to exchange roles with each other, between the different members of the group, and ability to take initiative to perform tasks, then increasing motivation to do tasks assigned to them, then increasing ability to take initiative to perform tasks, increasing motivation to do tasks assigned to them. All of these things you should be able to facilitate happening in the group. Then also checking the group climate in terms of trust and affection among the members. Make sure that this um, there are better physical and emotional proximity between the members. Their ability to suggest acceptable alternative goals, that is also increased. They also have increased ability to learn from the past experiences, or lessening of the hesitation to reveal one's opinion in the group. They should be able to speak very openly. And as a group worker, you have to ensure that there is lessening dependence on the group worker for simple tasks. So the members, they become more and more independent. Okay, role of the group worker is lessened. So your work, your role with the group task, that is decreased. And of course, the group workers' ability to predict the behavior, that increased. So these are some of the things that you should be able to facilitate. And then would be the termination. Termination means when you are basically when do you terminate the group work session? Okay, the termination would be there once the objective of the fieldwork has been achieved. When the fieldwork period is over, members have dropped out of the group, or members have moved out and shifted from their places. So these are the four reasons for termination of the group. And then evaluation of the group work process, that would be at different level, at generally four levels. First of all, evaluation done by the group worker, evaluation done by the client, evaluation done by your agency supervisor and the fieldwork supervisor, and evaluation done by agencies that have referred the case to your agency. Now, these different sessions that we have discussed, they are actually different stages of group work. Okay. So this does not mean that one day you have conducted one session and the second day you have conducted the second session. No. When we say first session, second session, this refers to basically the different stages. So this first stage can last for 3 4 days. The second stage can last for next 2 to 3 days. Third stage can last for again, so and so forth. It would depend on basically the time that you intend to spend your group work into. So here you know that you have to do 15 days of group work. So by all possibilities, you have to ensure that you are able to start your group work and terminate your group work within these 15 days, including your evaluation part. Okay. So all of these things you have to keep in mind when you start doing your fieldwork practice. Okay. Now there are some points that will be there for evaluation. First of all, assessment of the group members, your intervention formulated in relation to the problem, appropriateness of the intervention, outcome of the intervention, effectiveness of the techniques that you have used, how much the agency has supported you, and finally, your professional nature of the relationship with the client. So, all of these are the different points for evaluation. Then, the sixth component is the field work, the teamwork. Now, the teamwork include your work with other members of the agency. Okay. And they so you may be placed in that agency with some other student, or you may be asked to carry out the work with some other staff of the agency. So you have to have that ability to basically work as part of the team. So when you write your report, you will also write this aspect of, okay, who was working as a part of the team, how did the what are their roles in the agencies, what services do they provide. Okay. uh, all of these things you have to write as part of the teamwork. Now the administrative assignments would include any administrative work which the agency may give you in terms of maintaining records at this stage. When you are working as a field student social worker, they might give you to write different reports or finish some kind of a documentation for the field for the agency. Okay. So you have to begin to understand the agencies, its policies, rules and regulations. Understand excuse me, understand why it is important to keep records. Okay. Basic statistics regarding the income and expenditure of the agency, that should be understood. You should be able to understand this basic statistics. Learn to write official letters and maintaining records. So you may be asked to carry out these different administrative work in the agency as well. Okay. Like planning programs, planning out um, assistant tasks, like some kind of correspondence, like in documentation, like in report writing. All of these things may be expected from you as a student social worker. Now the eighth component includes the recording. Now from this semester you will have to record the process of work and also the dynamics between the systems and the subsystems. Okay. So like the agency, dynamics between the agency and the clients, all of these things, dynamics within the agency. So Your report should reflect the theory you have studied so far. Okay. And you will have to do what is known as a verbatim recording. Verbatim recording is a process of recording which describes the experiences of the social worker as it happens. So, as you experience different things in the agency, you have to record. And there will be different sections in the report, okay? Like there will be a section on interview and observation, students' initial reaction, students' subsequent reaction along with theory used to analyze the case, any future plans, comment of the fieldwork supervisor. This would be done by the fieldwork supervisor. You do not have to comment on that, but you will be writing all these things till students' future plan. Okay. And there will be 4 stages of report writing here: recalling what all has happened, writing those experiences, reflecting your own observations and your own what do you think about it, your own reactions, and then finally writing those reflections. Okay. Now, recording is the most important part in the field work because recording is used for many reasons. First of all, it can be used by the agency, for their future cases, and it can also be used to evaluate you as a student social worker. So, this recording should be done very seriously. Okay. Any questions till now?
Yes, ma'am. I have one.
Yeah.
My question is that what I've learned for my third and my fourth fieldwork visit is going to be in a community science secondary school. So what do I expect is that the school authority doesn't have anything like social work group in the school. So am I going to make the teachers, including the principal of the school, to be my team? Or what am I going to do? Thank you.
See, it can be any institution. You can work for old age homes also. You can work for a hospital setting also. You can work for an orphanage. So it need not be a school. If you don't have a provision for working in the school, you can take up any other institution. The reason why we are, emphasizing on an institution is that it will make your field work experience more easier because you have to work at the level of the group. And here in these institutions, you will easily find groups and you can take the sessions on a regular basis without kind of an interruption. But this is not very possible in a community setting. In community setting, you will find that the members of the group, you may find sometimes a group of the members of the group will not be able to come. They may be busy having their own work. So it's not that you cannot work in a community. You can definitely work in a community, but then you will have to make a lot of adjustments, and there you will face a lot of problems and challenges in working with the people. Okay. So that is why we suggest that for group work, it is always better if you go for a closed institution.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, then we come to the field instruction. Yes.
I'm, I'm saying you can proceed, madam.
Oh, okay, sir.
Sorry, before you proceed.
You want to say something?
Yes, before you proceed.
Yes, Chipio, tell me.
Yes, yesterday you said we have to have a concurrent visit for 15 days in one organization, 5 individual meeting with the supervisor, and the 5 concurrent visit from. I don't really understand where exactly are we doing the concurrent visit. Is it going to be separate organizations, or I need the clarification from there?
Your 5 orientation visits you will have to do in any welfare agency. Okay, it can be a government agency, it can be an NGO, it can be any international organization who is working on the issue of welfare. Okay, so it can be a government hospital also, it can be a school run by the government or some community based organization, any organization, whether private or public, who is working on the issue of welfare. Okay, so that 5 orientation visits you will have to do in 5 different organizations. Now, this 15 days of concurrent visits that you will be doing, you will have to work with one particular agency. Okay, so you will decide the agency depending upon your context, depending upon where you are located, where you are allowed to work, and also considering the fact that you will have to carry out group work in this semester. Will you be able to carry out group work in that agency? So you will decide the agency depending upon all these factors. And of course, you can seek the help of your supervisor when you decide this agency. Okay, Chipiliro, any other question? I hope I have.
Yeah, yeah, you have answered. So the concurrent visit, is it going to be from the 5 organizations to choose one, or I have to choose another organization from outside from the 5?
It can be anything. You can use any of the organization that you have visited during the orientation visits, or you can take up another sixth organization and do it. It is up to you.
All right. Thank you,
If
madam.
you
Well understood.
that any of the organizations that you have visited, it would be comfortable for you to do your 15 days of field work, you can ask them to take you as a student social worker and make you work for 15 days. So anything is okay. There's no hard and fast rule about it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm covered.
Okay. Then we come to the field instruction. Field instruction is basically your supervisor is supposed to give some instructions about the do's and don'ts. So you will be having a supervisor which will be there, who will be guiding you, working as a friend, philosopher, guide. So what all problems you are facing on the field and how to go about it, all of these instructions you will get from the supervisor. Now we come to the report of the orientation visits here. So we know that there will be 5 orientation visits. Okay. And you are expected to visit 5 different fieldwork settings. And as I said, that they can be any agency which is involved in the what you call welfare work. So it can be a governmental organization, it can be a non-governmental organization. You will be visiting these organizations, 5 different organizations on different days, and then you will get the information from them depending based on the performer which is given here. So you will ask the name of the institution. Okay, you will write down the name of the institution. Now this is the performer that you will have to use for all the orientation visits. You will write this as the subheading, and then you will write the information before that. Okay, so you give the name of the institution that you have visited, the address. If it is having any mission statement, then you write the mission statement or motto of the institution. Then write down the objectives of the institution. Is the agency having any kind of an objective? Okay, long term objective, short term objective, so on and so forth. Also write down the name of the chief executive officer or head of the organization. The connotations will be different. It could be a director, it could be a supervisor, it could be a chief medical officer, principal, depending upon the kind of organization that you visit. Okay, so you have to write whoever is the chief executive officer. If the organization is having board members, then you write the name of the board members. You will write the type of work or the type of services that the organization is providing. Write down the client system, write down details about the client system, the number of beneficiaries, the number of clients, and the nature. What kind of clients are they dealing with? Geographical area of work, whether it is working in a particular city, locality, in a neighborhood, or it is working in a particular city or a district or a province, whatever, you have to specify the geographical area of work. Okay. Then make sure that whatever agency that you are working in, it is duly registered. Generally, all these organizations, these non-governmental organizations, they have to be registered with the government. You have to ensure that if you are working with a non-governmental organization, then it is duly registered by the government, under the government. Okay, they are generally registered with the with the government. If it's a government organization, you don't have to worry about the registration part. Then organizational structure. Here you will just have a simple diagram about the organizational structure. So who comes under who, what is the basically the chain of command, that you find in their organization. Just try to write a simple flow chart, giving brief about the various departments in that organizations or various personals in the organization. So that organizational structure has to be there. Also give information like this you have to draw a table where you have to give information about the various professional staff, the support staff, and the volunteers that are there. Okay. Then you will be discussing about the history of the organization, where you will discuss the original, how the organization started, who started, what were the objectives, how the objectives have changed over a period of time, what services were there before, how it has changed over all these years. So you will write about the history. Sources of funding, whether it is being funded by government organizations, whether it is getting funds from some foreign funding agencies, from some religious, organization, or whether it is self financing. All of these you will try to write the sources of the funding of that organization. Mention infrastructure facilities, whether they are having an office building, whether they're having like any kind of transportation facilities are there, whether they're having their own ground, their own office premises, whatever infrastructure they have. Just write about those infrastructure facilities. Most of them you will be observing when you are visiting the organization. Observe what all things that they have. They have computers, they have a photocopy machine, they have printers. Whatever they have, you can just mention all that infrastructure facilities that the organization has. Write down the relationship with other agencies, whether they are related, you know they are having the kind of relationship they are having, maybe with the government agencies or with some other organization. Write about them. Then what are the problems which are faced by the agencies? They are having problem with the funding part, they are having problem with the with lack of you can say that lack of staff, whether they are having problems with the community, not so much of cooperative, the community is not very cooperative, or maybe the government agencies are not cooperating with the organization. So what all problems that they are facing, you have to write them. And any proposed remedies. So, any remedies that you may think which can be done, or maybe even the authorities of the organization, they think that this can be what can be done. This is what can be done. Write about the future plans of the agency. If they intend to, expand their area of work, expand the kind of services that they are getting, you can always do that. Any recognition and awards, if the agency has got, if they've received any award or recognition from any other organization or the government, you can write about it. If they are having any affiliations, say they are having affiliations from the department of government, or department of social justice and empowerment, or department of whatever. So if they are having any affiliations with any government body or other agency, write down. Or any other information you think would be good, like if they have participated in any kind of some program, or they have been given their services for some current recent event, or maybe some catastrophe, and they have been, very successful in something like that. You just write any other information that you think should be given. And then you have to write about your learning process. What have you learned from today's visit? Okay, what was your experience? What were your observations about the agency? All of these you have to write, okay, as part of the learning process. Now, fieldwork supervisor, these are the comments of the fieldwork supervisor, so you need not worry about these. This is something that the supervisor will give you. This is where you have to write the orientation visits. So you will be given these five, orientation visits. You will be given space to write these orientation visits. So over here, these are basically orientation visits. Fill in this required information, you know, uh, like the date of the visit, time, duration, name of the organization, name of your fieldwork supervisor, and here you have to start writing your report. Now, as I have said earlier, all these reports, they have to be written in third person. Okay, you don't have to use the term I, me, myself. Okay, it's like that. You will use the term student social worker or SSW in all your reports, and you have to use all the you have to use the language in terms of third person when you write in terms of third person, because these are very um, you can say formal reports. You will be evaluated on them, so make sure that you write them in quite details. Okay, so these reports have to be in quite details. So this is all about the orientation visit. So these are the 5 orientation visits that you will carry out during the course of your 15 days of field work, 25 days of field work, sorry. After this, we come to the next task that you have to cover, taking a bit time to, load. So this is the second individual conference that you will be organizing. Here, you will have to, discuss about the visits to your with your supervisor, and share your experiences with him or her. Write down if you have any kind of queries. So this is where your individual conference, the second individual conference, will come in here. Okay, and just fill up all these information. After the second individual conferences, we will be starting with the concurrent field work. Now, this concurrent field work will be for basically 15 days, as I have told you. Okay. Now, you will be visiting the agency, and you will be working with the agency for 15 days. Okay. And for all these 15 days, you will be doing the group work process. Okay. And this would be the pro forma for completing the visits for the 15 days. So, for the pro forma for all the 15 days, you are going to write the right here. So, date of field work would be there, time spent in the agency. Now, please remember, as I have already said, that the time that you have to spend will be one whole day. Like, you have to spend 25 full days in the agencies. Okay, like at least for the 15 days it has to be full 15 days. Okay, right from 9 till 5 o'clock, or whatever is the timing for the agency, you have to be there in the agency. And if you are working, you have to plan your field work visits accordingly. So see when you can accommodate, after taking time from your busy schedule, how you can manage. So just a time, just a plan a plan beforehand. How do you plan to complete those 15 days of field work? Okay. Then you will write about the various activities that you perform during the day, observations relating to the services provided by the agencies, okay, and functioning of the agency. So in teamwork, you will definitely, if you have worked as a part of a team, okay, you will write your experiences, the tasks that you were do that were assigned to you, what you had to do, you have to write about it, and also how the progress of the task so far, you have to write all about it. You have to write your observations about the client system also. Okay, if any administrative assignments were given to you, like if you were given the task of maybe writing a report or writing some kind of a correspondence, on behalf of the agency, planning for some activity, you have to write about it. What techniques of social work did you use? Okay, and what instructions did you receive from the supervisor in order to complete the task for that day? Okay, and you will also include any doubts that you had or any kind of observations that you would want to mention over here. So you can include all of these things when you're writing your report. So this will be there for your, this will be the performer for all the 15 days of field work that you will be doing in the agency. After here, this is basically the space that has been provided to you. This is a report of the concurrent visits. So here you will have these 5 concurrent visits that will be there. Okay. After these 5 concurrent visits, you will be then asked to go for your second individual conference. Okay. Now this is taking a little bit of time to load. Okay, so this is concurrent visit 3. Okay. Use these spaces provided to write about every day. You write about the concurrent visit report for every day. So there is this space given for 5 concurrent visits. Okay. Okay. So this is the 5th concurrent visit. After this 5th visit, we have the report of the individual conference, the third report of the individual conference. Now, this third report would be basically, you will have to write about your discussions with the supervisor. And in those discussions, you will be discussing in detail about the 5 days that you have spent working in the agency. So you will update the supervisor on all the tasks that have been assigned to you, how well you were able to carry out the task, how well you were able to finish the task. Okay, is anything else needs to be done? Like if there were any questions from your side that you wanted to ask, if you had, I'm so sorry, if there is any kind of doubts you are having about your field work, or maybe in the field work you are having some kind of difficulties with regard to the working of the agency, with regard to any difficulties if you're facing in the field, in the agency where you're working, you have to discuss everything with your supervisor. So I hope it is clear to you till now. Any any questions at this stage?
Hello, ma. I have one question.
Yes.
As you said, uh, for us, written our report, we have to write it in third person. For example, If I visit an organization and during writing the report, I write I, when I visit. Should that means that I'm not going to write when I visit? I'm going to write
No, you will
all.
not write I. You will write the student social worker visited the agency like this.
Okay. You mean
Okay.
that I'm going to write the student?
Yes, you have to make your reports very formal. Okay, you have to write it in a very formal way. So you are preferably you are going to write it in third person rather than writing it in first person. Okay, so you will write all your reports like this. Okay,
Okay, ma.
got
Thank
it?
you.
Okay. So this after this you will have to write the report for the third individual conference where this is again your meeting with the supervisor, and on meeting him or her you will be discussing the time that you have spent in the agency till now. So all the 5 days of time that was spent, what all activities were allotted to you, what all tasks were allotted to you, how well you were able to carry out those tasks, and so on and so forth. So basically you will have to write about the details of all the minutes of the meeting. Basically you have to write the minutes of the meeting, so everything that is discussed during the individual conferences, your questions, your or your maybe your your problems that you have been facing, or maybe if you have any problems in the field work, you can always discuss those issues with the supervisor. You can also get some important instructions regarding the field work process from the supervisor. Okay, like the supervisor may give you some do's and don'ts that you're supposed to follow, may give you some ideas. You may ask about you know how you can plan some programs. You may also get help from the supervisor may also assist you in planning for your program, in getting kind of assistance for the program. The supervisor may also help you in any other thing. So basically you will be uh, telling about your progress to the fieldwork supervisor, and these reports will be written in very much details, and you will be expected to write down the details of the meeting here. So this is where you will be writing your individual conference, third individual conference. Okay, and these individual conferences will be held after in the during the time period as it has been given to you in the journal. Okay, you will have to see when you are expected to hold a individual conference. Like first was after the induction meeting where you have to plan. Second was after the orientation visits, where you have to tell about the experiences of the orientation visits, and also ask the supervisor, take advice from the supervisor about the fieldwork where you will be doing. The third individual conference will be held after you have completed the 5 days of fieldwork. Okay, so after the first week, after you have completed the first week, you have to ask your supervisor to take an individual conference where you can then share your experiences and other things with your supervisor. So this is all about for today's session. We will be meeting tomorrow again, and then I will take up the rest of the LMS with you, and we will discuss the rest of the journal. Now, any questions regarding what all we have discussed till now? Any clarifications required?
Excuse me, ma. You know that you shared the link that we can download to fill the fieldwork so that we'll not be waiting for the LMS to upload it. So,
Okay. See,
share the link.
you can easily access these journals as well as your other study material from the e-Gyan Kosh. Now, eGyan Kosh is basically a repository of the university where they have uploaded all the learning material, and you can easily access this. So this is basically the website. Okay, eGyan Kosh. It is here. Uh, Let me just go to the meeting. I will just send it during the. I will send it in the chat. Okay, this is the website where you can get the journal, or you can get any other material, as required by you. So you can always visit this website. You can visit the website of IGNU, and you can get this material directly from the website. Okay. So this is all about for today's meeting. We'll meet again tomorrow. And if there are any kind of information that you require, or any kind of clarifications, then you please can we can discuss it tomorrow. And since tomorrow will be the last class for BSWL 107, I do expect that you be very this thing with with whatever problems you are having. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you so much for joining me for today's session. We'll meet again tomorrow the same time, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for the
Okay. Have a good day,
presentation.
all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
But
Good morning or good afternoon, Mr. Stephen. Good morning, Mr. Stephen. Hello? I need a help, please. Somebody should help. Who is listening, please? I need help. Hello? 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 Someone listening?